All right, we are back. Week 3 recap. Justice League Fantasy Football. What a wild one. What a wild one. And I think we just had an explosion on the trade wire.
Yeah, yeah,
Explosion on the trade wire. We'll kick off with that. There was a lot of moving and shaking going on today. And holy crap, that's a big one. Let's talk about it because we're the two assholes that are involved in the trade.
that's true.
So, all right, so fresh off the press, literally right before we went live here, let's talk about this. We go Jonathan Taylor and AJ Dillon on the move from Michael Savage's, dropping Khalil Mack, heading to the tribe, and the tribe is sending out Alvin Kamara, Mike Williams, and DJ Moore. That's a big one.
Yep.
That's a big one. We talked about this for a couple days, kind of put some feelers out there. I know you had a bunch of offers for Taylor. I had some fielding for Kamara. What made you pull the trigger?
Yeah, I mean, so I need an extra receiver in this lineup, but I also wanted to get a running back that could get me close to what Taylor does, projected wise, and just or what the expectations are with Taylor. And I got that with Kamara, and then to get an elite receiver like Mike Williams, that just hurts me every week where I have to play Claypool and I can't do anything. And then I get an extra number wide receiver one in DJ Moore. So when you balance that out and you look at my roster based on what Jamie Robinson's doing and based on what Tony Pollard's doing, and the lineup is really deep now with all those positions, and so you get Kamara, you got Robinson, and you got Tony Pollard. All of them are very good at receiving backs, and Rico knows how I love the receiving yards for backs, and
Yeah,
and all three of those guys do that. So
yeah,
that was kind of the reason behind that. I hated giving up JT because I love JT. I think he's phenomenal. It's nothing he's doing. He's just got a sorry ass quarterback that really don't help him out. And
yeah,
I just he's a phenomenal player, and I'm sure he'll put up big numbers. But that I needed to do something to balance my team out. It wasn't so much of everything going wrong like it did this weekend. It was mainly just I have to I have to balance this roster out so I can get the maximum of points. And I think with this move, it'll really boost up my scores every week. Probably, I think a few weeks I could get Bagman as far as what this lineup is. If they do what
yeah.
I,
They
I
hit.
expect them. If they hit, I think I got a good shot.
Yeah, looking at it here, I mean, I was looking to get a couple dominant players. I made a trade with Trey earlier. I really thought long and hard about getting Derrick Henry last week. Soon as he acquired him, I was kind of concerned about the Titans' offense. I saw what I needed to saw this weekend. They moved some things around. They got that going. Derrick Henry looked pretty dominant. I just liked the way that he was attacking, finishing runs. He looked good. So I made the move, traded Aaron Jones for Derrick Henry. And then when I had Henry and we talked about Taylor, I thought there was an outside chance I could do it if I was aggressive, which I was with this just monkey package that I sent. I got a chance to pair Henry and Taylor up. And I hurt my depth a little bit by doing so, but if you get a chance to put Henry and Taylor together, you kind of roll the dice. And if I, end up going down that way, then hey, I go down that way. So anyway, two huge trades go down. We'll lead off the show with that. I mean, we like to bring the big trades on there. We get the managers want to talk about kind of what they were thinking. Just kind of adds to the insight of why
Yeah,
people are making trades. I don't think at this point, with the money on the line and the level of competition, nobody's making a trade, a whip-ass trade that hurts them. I mean, I can break down every trade that I do. I'm sure you can. I think most of the managers at this point can do that. Shout out to Trent. Trent's made several moves, and he got his first win this week. We'll get into that.
yeah,
And just looking at some of the moves that he made, it really was what won the week. I mean, if he plays Trevor Lawrence this week, he would have whipped some ass for real. So it just seems like managers are really starting to think things like just comprehensively through. And I know we do, and I think the rest of the league is doing that. So if we
yeah.
hop right into it, those are the explosive trades that we had going today. We'll start right off with we'll talk about Mike's matchup. We'll do yours first. So you had big matchup with Trey. Trey's been reforming his team. He's got a lot of youth on it. and he pulled off a big trade getting Henry and getting Garrett Wilson right before the matchup with you. And I know that kind of sucked for you, and it ended up coming to fruition.
Yep.
Wilson has 14 points. Henry goes off for 28. Michael Carter didn't do a whole lot. Pittman came back this week, 17.
Hmm.
Noah Brown had 12. Noah's one of your Cowboys. Tanyan had a nice day with 10. Olave exploded with 28. We talked to Trey about Olave. I mean, that was a great pickup, great draft pick, and he's going to do some damage with Olave if he chooses to hold on to him and not trade him. Didn't get much from Bobby Wagner. Cade York only had 5, but holy moly, the MVP of the NFL up through 3 weeks has to be Lamar Jackson. And I know he's come under a lot of fire, especially
Yep.
from me last year because he's frankly playing like shit and he didn't look like a quarterback, looked like a running back under center, just what it is, call it like I see it. He got a lot better. He looks like the best player in the NFL right now, and he blew up again. 52 points. I think he had 60 last week. I mean, he's just killing it. And Trey is
Yep.
extremely hard to beat right now. Looking at your score, I had a rough go with Herbert. Herbert probably should not have played. He went ahead and played anyway at 21 points. Didn't look very sharp. Ayuk had 14 points. Jimmy G dropping snaps and really looked rusty in Denver. Could have had
Hmm.
a bigger day. Claypool, kind of same thing with Trubisky, just kind of handicapped with those doggone
Yep.
quarterbacks. JT, guy you just traded that I just traded for, had 13 points. Couldn't really get going, had 71 rush yards, but just couldn't get in the end zone. Another guy with Matt Ryan making some goofy mistakes. Hopefully Matt can play a little better. A.J. Dillon got bottled up. They played Tampa. That was never going to be a big day for either him or
Yep.
Jones. Knox had 8 points. Pollard had a nice day. Went
Yep.
over 100 yards. If he gets in the end zone, it's a huge day. Finished with 13. Jamie Robinson continues to be one of your best performers with 24. And then Tucker
Yep.
had 10. And Parsons, the thing with the IDP, man, you got the best IDP guy in the league in Parsons, but the same thing happened in my matchup with Garrett. He only had 0.5 points. Guys that are rushing, if they don't get the sack or the strip sack or the
Yep.
forced fumble, they can have donuts on you. It's something to really
Yep.
think about. I'm still learning myself how to attack this IDP. What did you think of your team's performance? Trey had a great day. Trey managed his butt off. He pulled off a fantastic trade. I thought he won the hell out of that trade. He crushed Gino in that trade, and he had a great performance. So just hats off to him. He was very close to the bag. I thought that was a great managerial week for him. What are you going to improve with your squad here?
Yeah, I mean, with Trey, I mean, every if you look at every guy, they overperformed about what they. I mean, extremely overperformed. Olave's really good, but he ain't thrown up no 28 before.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry's averaging 8. He got 27. So these guys went way above what they do. His team is still really good. Obviously, you got Derrick Henry now, um, but my point is like everyone overperformed for his team, and my team, a lot of guys underperformed. JT had a little, nice little game, but it's not JT type of game. And then
No.
Herbert was turning the ball over, and he had some touchdowns, but just wasn't his usual day. And then and when Micah, I mean, if you anybody watched the game, it's like Micah's like right there on every
Yeah.
play, but he just couldn't get the sack. But it's just that's why I love the IDP though, is because it really bases what you do on the game as your player, and not just if I had the Dallas defense, hell yeah, I'd be doing good because they had 8 sacks.
Yeah, they
So
crushed it.
yeah, so they were pass rushing like a mother. But if I have that's why I like the IDP because it doesn't reward teams for your player. Your guy might not even do anything, and so I
Mhm.
like it. I still love it. Love Micah Parsons. I love the volume. He's always there. You will not see a low point like that for Micah very often. He's going to get 20s almost every week, but occasionally you're going to
Mhm.
have one that does this. That's what makes IDP exciting. But Jamie Robinson was phenomenal. I've told Rico I think he's one of the best fantasy running backs right now. The dude's averaging, I think the
He's doing
first few
great.
weeks is 18, 17, and 23. So he is
Mhm.
loading up points. Pollard looks like the featured guy, even though Zeke's getting some burn too. I think Pollard is getting a lot more burn than he has last year. So I'm very excited about those two backs. Now I add Kamara. I think he's going to add a lot. And then Mike Williams, I think certainly gets the ball with my quarterback now. So that's going to help a lot. And I think it fixes a lot of issues with my team where I'm going to have some big point days as far as what I have, and it's just balance. I don't have to play Claypool every week, so this is going to help a lot. And
Yeah.
Congratulations, Trey. His team just way outperformed what
Yeah.
they usually do. They just did a
Yeah,
good job.
he had a hell of a week. So Trey is just he's got some things working for him. He's got some youth on that team that's already snapping pretty early. So we'll see what happens. I think that trade really helped him. But having Olave and Garrett Wilson to go along with, now he's got Aaron Jones coming in, and he's got Pittman, and obviously Lamar is just crushing it. He can ride that wave for a while. He's going to be a dangerous team. So yeah, you just got to reform it. I think this trade here will probably lift your projection, and we'll see. Just a week to week thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of great teams. I mean, we saw that tonight, man. I was actually nervous watching this for everyone else. It was like one point or three guys were like at 170 something, and they were right there
Yeah,
going for that bag. And it all it took was like, hey, if Zeke gets a 15-yard carry, bam, Marcus gets the bag again, or Trey gets, the receiver Noah Brown to get a big catch, he
yeah,
gets the bag, or
it was
if
crazy.
Saquon Barkley breaks one, Joe gets the bag, and Joe hung on and barely nearly won. But I think that's one of the best battles I've seen for top
Yeah,
scorer this week. And that's what makes this league so freaking awesome, guys. Like keep doing what you're doing and working it, because this is what makes it exciting. The league the best is when you have this kind of competition. So I was nervous for the guys. I wasn't even in it, but I was nervous for these
yeah.
guys watching it. So it was fun.
That that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Bag ended up going to Joe. We'll get into his matchup. Going into the second matchup of the week, we've got Jameis Crab Hunter, Anthony Porterfield, my brother from another mother. We actually got to link up in Tallahassee on Saturday. Got to take in the Knowles game with Ant. Ant's a former tight end for the Knowles. Really good dude. Had a great time with him. And he gets his first win of the year, 147.24 to 132.07 over Mark Ozone. Looking at Ant's team, he got a decent performance from Brady. Brady had next to no weapons, still managed to get 24 points. He's just
Yeah.
that's what Brady does. He put three Billy Goats and a moose out there, and he's going to figure it out. Gabe Davis didn't do a whole lot. 8 points. Had
Yeah.
21 from Thielen. Good day for him. 9 points from Naheem Hines. Damian Harris, who he just acquired in a trade from me, ironically, had 13 points. Kelsey, who he just acquired from me, had 20.
Yeah.
So that trade
Okay.
worked out well for him. And then he got 17 from Juju. Good day for Juju. 12 from Ertz. 15 from Graham Gano. That was huge. And
Yeah.
then 8 from Derwin James. Looking at his bench, nobody went crazy on this bench. So he played all the right guys. And Ozone had a ho-hum day from Patrick Mahomes. Pat Mahomes gets into it with Eric Bieniemy. I threw that on the chat because a lot of people think I'm just hating on Eric Bieniemy. Something's up there. And I've been saying it for a couple of years. The Chiefs offense has not looked the same since 2020. And people are like, oh, you're just kind of hating. No, something's different about that offense.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to ball control and they're losing because they're not scoring. Like they scored 17 points. The Chiefs should never score 17 points. That's ridiculous. Something's up in KC. Call me hater if you want to. Eric Bieniemy is not a head coach for a reason. He's getting into it with his players, getting into it with Pat Mahomes, who's one of the most likable guys in the league. Shady McCoy dropped a tweet on it. Something's up there at Bieniemy. Watch for that as the season goes on. You heard it here 2 years running, but you'll hear it here again for the first time in 2022. Back to Bark scores. Sutton drops 20. Allen Robinson continues to be just an utter failure. Mark's going to have to do something there because that guy ain't getting it done. 5 points. Leonard Fournette had a quiet day. Could have been a little bigger. Had 14. James Conner with a really quiet day. Really hurt him. He only had 10. Hawkinson with 11. Sanders with 6. Robert Woods with a pretty decent day for Robert Woods. He actually over-projected. He had 16. Only 2 from Lutz. The Saints offense was absolutely garbage. Jameis had a bad day. James is going to have to pick it up or he's going to get benched. Bolton had 23, and so he ends up with the loss there. Nothing really to talk about on the bench that he could have done. Maybe Joshua Palmer with 19 out there with Keenan Allen sitting. But Mark falls to 0-3. Anthony goes to 1-2. So big win for Ant. Moving on, we'll go to one that had some bag implications. We go to Gino and Merck. This was a heavyweight fight. Gino drops 166.88 and ends up losing 175.49 is what Merck scored. Merck was in the running for the bag. He bagged last week. He almost did it again this week. Going to Gino, he ran with Goff. I want to say he had a second quarterback in there. Okay, that was Russell Wilson. So Russell Wilson didn't do diddly. Goff dropped 21. Dan Campbell found a way to lose that game again. He gambled. Jalen Waddle, after dropping a 50 piece on my head last week, comes back down to earth and does what he should likely be doing every week, which is 18. Mike Thomas goes 11. Nick Chubb, 18. 15 for McCaffrey. McCaffrey ain't right, y'all. Been saying it. People call me a hater just like they do with the Bieniemy. That's not the same Christian McCaffrey from 2019. It's not. I don't think that guy's coming back. I don't like the offense in Carolina. I don't like Baker Mayfield. I don't like the employment of Christian McCaffrey. They're trying to use him as like a hammer, A gapping him and B gapping him. He's not getting in space. I don't like Christian McCaffrey this year to return value at that 2 spot that he was drafted at. Don't like it. And I'm open for arguments and all the smoke that comes with that. 16 for Pitts. Nice breakout day for Pitts. Pitts hadn't been doing much. Dameon Pierce, great pickup by Geno there. Has 20 points. That's going to bring some dividends throughout the fantasy season. Judy only with 4 points. That's tough. Prater had 15, and he got 28 from Roquan Smith, and he was just complaining about the IDP and Roquan Smith a couple weeks ago, and he gets 28 from Roquan here, a big day. But it wasn't enough. Merck's 3-0, and spoiler alert, he's number 1 in our power ranking. Merck is off to a great start. Only got 20 from Kyler Murray, got 18 from Kupp, got 6 from Hill. You're like, we got him, right? There's no way Merck's going to win if he gets 6 from Hill, 18 from Kupp, and 20 from Murray. Well, take a sip. Hold your beer. He gets 16 from Elliott, 10 from Hunt, 27 from Njoku, 25 from Cooper, and 39 from Devonta Smith. After Devonta Smith had a bagel in week 1, he gets 39 from Devonta Smith, 13 from Young Hoku, and only 2 points from Devin White. Doesn't matter. Just Merck's team's crushing it. 175. Merck goes to 3-0. Number 1 in our power meter. Moving on. This one's a pretty cool story. It sucks for Mario, but Mario, your luck is not. Your lack of luck is going to continue, brother. Because I'm not holding any punches. I'm coming for them cheeks week 4 because I'm coming off a loss and I'm pissed. But anyway. Couple 0-2 teams battling it out. Trent made a lot of moves. We'll talk about his team first. He comes out on top, 124.14 to 107.9 over Mario. Trent gets his first win in Justice League history. I know he's excited. He's been doing a lot of moves, making a lot of trades, made a lot of moves, man. He brought in Garoppolo. He brought in doggone Trevor Lawrence, although he didn't play him, probably should have. He holds on to – what were we saying?
I was going to say he probably won this week. I guarantee he'll play this week. So, yeah, I mean, Trent made a lot of good moves, and we've had him on the show plenty of times. I'm happy for Trent. I mean, he works hard. You can see how hard he's working. A lot of stuff just hadn't finalized the first 2 weeks, and so he's trying to figure out. And he got the biggest news, Jamal Williams. He's going to be a star.
Yeah, so we'll run down this, and we'll talk about Jamal real quick. So he only gets 13 from Garoppolo. Garoppolo, you freaking pissed me off because you're handicapping guys that I got on my team, guys Mike's got on his team. Garoppolo, get your head out of your ass, dude. Seriously. What are you doing? 13 points. Fucking be better. Christian Kirk, big trade acquisition that he got with Joe. He brings in Kirk, and then he brings in Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Gets 21 from Kirk, gets 16 from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Looking like he won that trade so far. I want to say Eckler had 15, 16. So that looks like a win so far. Makes a trade. DJ Moore sends him out. I send him Curtis Samuel and also McKissick. Curtis Samuel outscores DJ Moore. So good job, Trent. You won that one as well. Got 14 from Samuel. We made another trade a couple weeks ago with Cordero Patterson for Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones had a big week last week. Didn't diddly squat this week. And Patterson right back to 25 points. So Trent's made some moves, and they shook out here pretty nice. He only got 6 from Irv Smith. Real disappointing day for Brandon Cooks. That's surprising, only 5 points because he's WR1 out there. And Houston gets 10 points from DJ Chark. DJ Chark might give you nothing. He might give you something, or he might give you a little bit. You just don't know. That guy is all over the place. Carlson gives him 10, and he gets 5 points from D. Hunter, linebacker DN from Minnesota. Now, we'll talk about Jamal Williams for a second. Oh, he got 39 points from Trevor Lawrence, too. I'm thinking that's probably going to be his QB1 now.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams blows up 27 points in Detroit, 87 rush yards, 2 rush TDs. The news out of Detroit that I've been reading is that it's a shoulder AC sprain for Swift, which is why he wasn't
Hmm.
getting a lot of touches, which affected this matchup because Mario had Swift, and so Swift didn't blow up because he had the AC joint.
Yep.
But Jamal Williams looks like an RB2 for the next couple of weeks. I think Dan Campbell mentioned about sitting him for a couple of weeks. I think Detroit's got a bye week 6, so we're heading into
Yeah.
week 4 now. So 2 weeks, then a bye that gives him 3 weeks to rest. So I don't think you're going to see Swift for another 3 weeks. Trent's going to
Right.
have an RB2 for the next couple of weeks, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Great team. He's done a lot of good, and this is what we say every week. You gotta adjust your team to. You can't just be happy if you score, unless you got Merck's team. Then you can really be happy.
Murder's
But
crushing it.
everyone else, I think, you have to just keep balancing act of where you're going to get explosive points from, and Trent took that to heat, and he went out there and put the work in and got it done.
Yeah, Trent had a good week. Going down Mario, got 27 from Kirk Cousins. A lot of that came late. Kirk Cousins is one of those guys. He could have like 6 points fourth quarter, end up with 36. It's just weird like that. Diggs had a pretty quiet day compared to what he normally does. 16, only got 5 from Beasley. That was a dart throw.
Yep.
Only 8 by Swift. We talked about that.
Yep.
Montgomery, this is what killed him. Montgomery goes down with that injury. Apparently, he's day to day. I would imagine he would probably miss a week, but
It's good
um,
news.
yeah, we'll
It's
see.
good.
But I think he's day to day, so he's not going to be down for long. So, Joe, you don't have a big trade piece in Herbert. Sorry, that guy's not going to be worth gold. Maybe for a week, but you can try and see if you can find a sucker.
Oh, he's gonna
Uh,
try. He's gonna try. I mean,
yeah.
I love Joe, and congratulations Joe on the bag, but um, man, yeah, some of those trades are interesting.
So Montgomery only gained 1 point. That really hurt. That really hurt Mario. I mean, Montgomery probably could have been a difference maker in that game. He got hurt. Only gave him a point. Goddard gave him 12, 16 from Jacobs. Cam Akers had a pretty decent day. 62
Yeah.
rush yards and a tutty, 11 points. McPherson, the kicker, gave him 10 points. And then again, it was a bad week for IDP. It really was.
Hmm.
A lot of guys, IDP really crushed him. Gino had a big day from his IDP with Roquan Smith in that same game that we're talking about with Montgomery. But Tyrann Mathieu only gave him 2 points. I messed up my IDP. I think yours didn't do nothing. His didn't do anything. I mean, a lot of guys really kind of just didn't get much out of the IDP. It's a work in
Nope.
progress. Trying to find guys
It's
that are hitting week after week. It's tough, man.
Yeah, and a lot of
And
things what they do during the game, it depends on what the offense is running of what you're going to get the IDP. Sometimes if
mhm.
sometimes they don't run, they just run the ball. Your pass rushers aren't going to get the ball, and then sometimes you get load up with linebacker points when with Gino with guys that are running across the middle, and you can tackle them and get load up with that or get turnovers.
Yeah.
In some weeks you get pass rushing, like we've seen with Michael Parsons and T.J. Watt when he was healthy. So I think you're going to see it week by week. Sometimes it's going to change. Obviously, the consistent ones are the ones that have been picked early, but I think that's what makes IDP exciting. I think it's the proper way. You don't reward teams for getting team points, but
Mhm.
I think it's great. It's like just like another elite player on your team. If they perform well, they get points. If they don't in IDP, they don't.
I see something here, and I got to bring it up, not to throw salt in the wound, but I see Russell Gage sitting on his bench with 27 points, and I see he played Cole Beasley. Now, backstory: Tampa Bay's got Godwin out, Julio out. Mike Evans gets suspended for whipping Lattimore's ass, so she whips Lattimore's ass once a year. Um, and so Mario makes the decision to play Beasley instead of Gage. Gage has been with the team, went through the camp with the team, probably had a lot more rapport going into that game. He went with Beasley. Beasley gave him 4.7. Gage gave him 27.2. If they flip those, Mario's 1 and 2. That just shows you how close these decisions are and how
Yeah.
punitive they can be or how rewarding they can be. You never know. Fantasy's a guessing
Yep.
game, but he flips a player in and out there, and we're not giving the praise to Trent. We're giving it to Mario for making a great decision. Makes the wrong decision. He's 0-3. He's got me. He's going to be 0-4. Sorry. It's just the way it's going to be.
Yeah, and you got. I mean, we've seen Cole Beasley have 30-point games. So it could have easily been Cole Beasley being the guy that gets all the passes, but today it was Russell Gage, and that's kind of how thin line of fantasy. It just sometimes you're the dog, and sometimes you're the hydrant, and he was the hydrant.
Yep.
So it just
Yeah.
works that way.
Yes, that sucks. So He's going to be looking to bounce back. We'll see what happens. Maybe Cole Beasley will go off on me for 40 and he'll get a win. Who knows? Can't
Nope.
predict this stuff. Moving on, we'll go back to Willie Wheel. Played Corey. Corey got off to a 2-0 start, was looking good, had a win over you in a close matchup in week 2. But Willie went off, and Willie screwed up and didn't even play a dude that he should have played. And it ends up costing Willie the bag, and we'll get into that. Guys, set your freaking roster. Like, seriously. It's a paid league. Sunday morning, I don't give a shit if you got to take the dog out or go to church or whatever you got to do. Check your roster and set that thing before noon when the games start because it's important. It's not just for you. It's for the competitive balance. Like, Joe got $75 today because Willie didn't set his lineup. This was Willie's money. Willie just donated $75 to Joe. He had the best week. He had the best team this week. And because he didn't set his lineup, we'll get into it. Hunter Renfrow was out. I think Hunter Renfrow was out, and it was an early game. So you would have known at 11:30, guys, set your freaking lineups, man. It costs you money. I mean, Willie just donated $75, had a phenomenal week regardless. 42 from Allen, 18 from Lockett, 27 from Jones, 15 from Cook, 12 from Gibson, 4 from Ingram, a donut for Renfrow because he freaking didn't play. And you got to know when a guy's not playing. Singletary, 26 points. Joseph, 4 points. Got a big interception from Diggs. Won the IDP matchup. Got 26 points. Diggs had a late pick. 3 passes defended. 7 total tackles. This is why when we did these settings for the IDP, I crafted it in a way where 3 levels could win you a week. You could get it from a D lineman, you get it from a linebacker, you get it from a DB. And Willie had Diggs, and Diggs crushed it this week, 26 points. Just goes to show, if you get the matchup right, man, your IDP can carry the mail. Had 2 points on the bench from Henry. The one that kills him, the 20 points from KJ Osborne. That would have been his obvious play. Even if he played, that would have been his obvious play. It's the only other guy that he would have played, would have been KJ Osborne.
Yep.
Add 20 points to Willie. 196 and $75. Set your freaking rosters, guys. Seriously. It's $75, or you could just donate it to the next guy who's willing to set his. Looking at Corey's roster, got 31 from Carr, 14 from Chase. That's surprising. Chase has had a couple quiet weeks. We'll see if that continues because he was supposed to come in and just be the dominant WR 1, 2, or 3, and he's kind of struggling in a couple weeks. Only 14 from him here. Deontay Johnson had a nice week, 18 points, and that's saying something with Mitch Trubisky just arm punting. Javonte Williams, 9.25 points. Really love Javonte Williams on his roster. I think he's a hell of a pickup. Jeff Wilson Jr. is the random back in San Francisco that just gets the carries. He's obnoxious. I don't think he's that good. And he kind of gets a lot of the load that I think some of the other better players could get. But he's productive, 13 points. Darren Waller, really quiet week. Really love Darren Waller, but he did not have a very good game, 6 points. Jahan Dotson is all over the place. He's a rookie. It's kind of what you get, 3 points there. Drake London, excellent pick by Corey. I think he's a great draft pick. WR1 in Atlanta, and probably the number one option in that, definitely number one option in that passing game. And he's creeping up on Cordell Patterson as the number one player in that offense. Really good guy, 16 points. He's going to be kind of the future of this Corey's team here. I could see him building around this guy. That's a great pickup, great draft pick by Corey. 5 points from Tyler Bass, the kicker that he doesn't know the name of. And then he's got safety from Baltimore, Williams, gave him 10 points. And he put a lot of work into that IDP. We talked to him, or him and I talked a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the IDP and what he should do. And he's also very bullish on Ramondre Stevenson. I see why. 22 points from Stevenson, 73 rush yards, TD. He's really high on him. Jacoby Myers didn't play. Breece Hall, another great pickup. Another guy, 17.2 points. Trey, you got the wrong back in New York, buddy. Told you that 2 weeks ago. Breece Hall's the guy. They're slowly easing them in. 17 points for Breece Hall again. He's getting the meat and taters. Corey's got a good asset there that he could either flip or start putting in there, maybe take Dotson out. He'll figure it out. He always does, but that's a good pickup. Gerald Everett quieted down, 6 points. And J.K. Dobbins, a guy that I traded him for Mooney, Darnell Mooney, who's doing absolutely nothing. J.K. Dobbins' first game of the year had 6.5 points. So That's the breakdown. Willie, set your freaking roster, man, because I should have been paying you $75, but you found something better to do and it cost you money. Moving on, going to Eddie and Joe. Joe gets the bag by way of charity of Willie. He had 181 points. Phenomenal week. Eddie had a down week, 127.2. Just guys didn't hit. I mean, we look at his team and we talk about this all the time. We talk about guys that giving that value back at their ADP. I'm as high as anybody on Justin Jefferson, but Justin Jefferson 4.4 points, man. Like that just can't happen. That just can't happen in a victory where they score 28 points. Justin Jefferson has 3 catches and 14 receiving yards against Detroit. Detroit's defense ain't good. Very surprising. If that happens, Eddie's losing every week that happens. Got 17 from T. Higgins. Only got a point, 2 points from Darrell Henderson Jr. I feel for him here because Henderson looked like he was going to be the dude. And then Cam Akers looked like he was going to be on the outside looking in. And then they got like 2 other random guys that are taking carries.
Yep.
And then this week happens, and then Henderson only gets 17 yards, and nobody knows what the hell McVay's doing. I don't know what McVay's doing. I don't know what he's going to do with the running back situation. Maybe Henderson has a $150 next week. I can't tell. I do like Etienne. I don't like him to be leaned on as a running back 1 or 2 for a respective team. But Etienne did return a little bit of value, 12.25 points. Pat Fairmouth, 7 points. Bateman had a down day, only 7 points actually. Etwan Moore, 10.4 points. Going to be tough because Garrett Wilson is just blowing up in New York, getting all the target share. That's going to be tough. Suckup gives him 9. Aaron Donald steady, gave him 17 points. And his big money guy is Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has been crushing it, 42 points. Philly looks really damn good. And let's see if he had anything on the bench of note. Not particularly. Alan Lazard did have 17. That's solid. Alexander Madison had 12 points. Injury to Dalvin Cook. Not sure how many weeks that's going to cost him, if it's going to cost him weeks. But Eddie's in great position with Alexander Madison because he is a plug and play, arguably the best backup running back handcuff in the league. So that's Eddie's team. Now going over to Joe, the bag man. Tua was a fluke. 60-something points was a fluke. Okay? Like we talked about whether it was going to be a fluke. It was a fluke. Tua back down to being Tua, 18 points. McLaurin has 19 points. Good day for McLaurin. I was trying to get him to trade him. He's probably not going to trade him. McLaurin did McLaurin things there. That's a good day for him. Got 32 from Hollywood Brown, even though they only scored 12 points. 140 receiving yards, 14 receptions. Monster day from Hollywood. I don't see that happening very often, but it happened this week. Saquon Barkley, 23. I do see that happening because Saquon's one of the best players in our league. Eckler, and we could pause here for a little bit on Eckler, 14.3 points. I drafted him. I regretted it as soon as I drafted him. I tried to get rid of him as soon as possible because I just didn't see Eckler being the guy that he's trumped up to be. And 14 points this week. What are your thoughts on Eckler?
I mean, I think points wise, he's gonna get you in the double figures most cases because he does so much in the passing game, but he's infuriating to have if you own him because he isn't a guy you feel comfortable running between the tackles, and he's really dependent upon those quirky ass yards that in the final minutes of a game or final minutes and a half where you're just trying to get yards for your team, like the Chargers. But like I say, he's a solid back as far as it's not like he's terrible. He doesn't go out there and lay fivers, but he gets you double digits most times. But he's inducive of getting banged up some because of how much they use him in everything they do, passing, running. He's definitely not running as good as they did last year, but unlike McCaffrey, for the most part, he stays healthy.
Yeah, so he gets 14 from Eckler. I'm down on Eckler. We'll see what happens there. I bet he's going to try to move him. In fact, I know he's trying to move him. We'll see if Eckler has a new home coming up this week. Mark Andrews, in my opinion, the best tight end in football. 32 points. He's freaking awesome. 2 receiving touchdowns, 89 yards, 8 catches. Najee Harris, tough day at the office for him. but he battled 15 points. Sterling Shepard is hurt. It doesn't look good. He's probably going to be out for an extended period of time. He gave him
Yep.
11 points tonight. He got 5 from Boswell, and he got 12 from Bosa. Looking at his bench, Carson Wentz only had 11.5 points. There was a lot of chatter about he had the number 1, number 2 quarterback or whatever. No, they're decent. They're solid. They're not crap, but yeah. Carson comes down to earth, and so did Tua. 36 points from Khalil Herbert just makes you wonder what would have happened for Mario if Montgomery stayed healthy, because Herbert went crazy. 157 on the ground, 2 rush TDs. Unfortunately for Joe, Montgomery's injury is not that bad. It's going to be day to day, maybe a week, maybe 2. He's out. But that's definitely going to be a terrific play for him over these next 2 weeks if Montgomery sits. Kadarius Toney is worthless. He's zeroed out. Michael Gallup is still hurt, probably for the next couple of weeks. They're not going to ramp him up very fast. Elijah Mitchell is going to be out for another 6 or 7 weeks. James Cook is getting a little more burn. He had 4 catches for 37 yards. He had a rush for 3 yards. So he's starting to heat up a little bit for Buffalo. That could be a nice little stash for Joe. I like James Cook. Prescott, we'll see if he's back. You got any word on Prescott? Is he looking week 4 or 5?
They said next week that he feels like he's going to be back next week. They got a big game with Washington, obviously a big win tonight against the Giants, but I don't think they're going to rush. They know what they have with Cooper. Cooper was phenomenal. If you're looking for a backup quarterback, that dude, I mean, he's playing as good as any backup quarterback can play the last 2 weeks. So I think Cooper certainly is a guy, if you're looking for kind of a insurance policy or something for a backup, that's one to have. But yeah, I think Dak says I think Dak will be back in the next 2 weeks at worst. I think either this week or next week.
Okay, and then he's got Jamison Williams, which was a really sneaky, witty move that he pulled on draft day. That was really good. He's got him in an IR spot. But talking about Joe's team, I mean, Joe is creeping up in our power ranking. I got him at number 2 because his team is pretty explosive, but he has got some things to work on because he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 IR level players, and he's going to have a 6th one in Shepard. So there's going to be some things going on, and that this is where you need fab money, Joe, because people are going to be bidding on players, and you need them, and you're just going to have to stay up till 2:30 to see who's available, I guess. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of roster turnover there. And please stop trying to trade Kadarius Toney. That dude is literally out of favor with the staff. Like, he's got to do something first, please.
Yeah.
And Richie James is a lot better than him. Shout out to Richie James.
I will say Joe. I mean, Joe does a great. I mean, every year I've done this, Joe's roster is really good. Like, his top tier guys are really good, and it's no different this year. But
he's got a good roster.
But yes, got to make some good value trades, and I understand Joe wants to get the most out of what he wants, but certainly a big week for Joe. Congrats on the bag. You earned it. You went out there and you had big weeks, but he's definitely going to have some decisions coming up with that bench.
Yep, he is, but he gets the bag this week. He is the king of week 3. Joe is going to be number 2 in our power poll, and he's looking really good right now.
Yep.
Congrats to Joe. That brings us to the last matchup where I fell to Anthony Masidi, 141.30 to 135.25. Thanks to CeeDee Lamb dropping a wide open touchdown grab. Hey, it happens. Got outplayed, got outmanaged here. Going over my team, I got 37 points from Burrow. I got 26 points from Lamb. Should have been about 40, but he likes to drop game-winning, week-winning TDs. That's cool. Deebo Samuel is incarcerated by Jimmy Garoppolo. He had 14 points the first quarter and didn't get crap the rest of the game. Thanks, Jimmy. Aaron Jones is playing Tampa, so his 6 points make sense. Kamara, 8 points. Jameis missed him like 5 times. It could have been a better week. So I got crushed here. Jones and Kamara giving me a total of 14 points. That crushed me. Kittle got crushed by Garoppolo, being sorry as hell. He only had 7 points. Mike Williams, Herbert was hurt and couldn't take advantage of Keenan Allen being out. I only got 9 points, although I did get a TD out of that. Metcalf had a nice game. Metcalf had 5 catches, had a touchdown, had 19 points. That was good. Matt Gay with 8. And I got nothing from Myles Garrett, and I don't know what Myles Garrett's going to do this week because he got in a rollover single car accident. So there's that. Edmonds could have played him. He gave me 16 off the bench, and that's about it. So my team just didn't do very good. Didn't deserve to win. Got outmanaged. Got outplayed. Uh, Going over to Anthony's team, 27 from Aaron Rodgers. That was impressive going against Tampa. Got
Mhm.
15 from Adams. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the Raiders. They're 0-3. I mean, I just don't like having players on bad teams, and the Raiders look bad. But he did get 15 from Adams. We'll see if that keeps up. AJ Brown's awesome. Had 22 points. Had a
Yep.
receiving TD. He looks really good. Joe Mixon got banged up. Got only 7 points for Joe Mixon. That Joe Mixon tends to go in and out of games a lot. I know because I've had him
Yep.
previously. You always got to watch for that. He gets 18 from Melvin Gordon. That's where I knew my week was lost. Melvin Gordon hadn't done diddly snot all year, and then just blows up for 18 in this game. In a 11-10 game, Melvin Gordon with 18 points, including a TD. So when that happens, just hold your L, and I'm holding it. Tyler Higbee with 11 points. Devin Duvernay got another touchdown, fourth quarter in the back of the end zone. It caught 2 passes, and one of them was for a TD. So when that happens, hold your L. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 15 points. Another great day from him. Got a 55-yard field goal from McManus and got 5.2 points from Josh Allen. Looking at his bench was solid. He had Isaiah McKenzie go off for 23. Tannehill at 27. Tyler Conklin had 18. That's a good day. Dortch had 19. So his bench also kicked my ass. So he could have probably played several other people to still beat me. So Anthony goes to 3-0. I've got him 3 in our power poll. And
Yep.
I'll just reel off our power poll now. Congrats to Merck. You're holding on to that number 1 spot. I've got Merck number 1. I bumped Joe all the way up to number 2 off the bag. Miss City comes in at number 3. Eddie at top 4 at number 4. I got Trey bumping up to number 5. I like some of the acquisitions that he's got. Trey's team's coming along nicely, a little ahead of schedule from where the Yahoo had his roster ranked.
Mhm.
Trey's doing really well. I've got myself at 6. Willie's at 7. I've got Corey at 8. Mike, I've got you at 9. Porterfield, you're coming in at 10. Trent gets his first week. He jumps up from the 14th spot to number 11. Only got 3 more spots to get into that playoff race.
Mhm.
Gino's team has performed, but he's just had some bad luck. I've got him at 12. He's still winless. Mario is also winless, and so is Mark. So they round out 12, 13, and 14, respectively. One of those guys going to have to get off the schneid. Mario, I hope it's not you because I play you this week. But that is our power poll. Looking at our matchups going into week 4. Week 4, what do we got? I'm heading up against Mario, Eddie, and Corey. That's going to be a good little battle there. A couple Falcon fans see what they get going. Willie is going to be playing Miss City. That'll be a sneaky little matchup because Willie tends to outdo his projection. Gino and Trey. This is going to be a good one because
Mhm.
Gino has a really good roster, and they just did a trade where
Mhm.
Gino got Christian McCaffrey, and then Christian McCaffrey went for Derrick Henry, and then Derrick Henry's now on my team, but still, he still has Garrett Wilson. He's getting Aaron Jones. So Trey's kind of reformed some stuff to square up with Gino. That's going to be interesting. Trey sitting at 2-1, Gino at 0-3. 0-4, Gino, it starts getting dark early. So Trey, grab him. You're going to need him. Joe coming off a bag. He's going to be playing Trent coming off his first win. That looks like a mismatch on paper, Trent. You're going to have to do some moving and some shaking because Joe's got a hell of a roster. But Joe's got a ton of injuries and stuff, so we'll see. I'm interested to see what Joe does with his roster
Yep.
here because he's got a lot of holes, a lot. He only got 2 IR spots. He needs about 6 of them. Prime is going up against Ant. Ant's going to need Tom Brady to step up and have a Tom Brady-type game to keep up with Merck because Merck's team is just blowing it up. He's got the highest projection out of any of the teams in the league. Merck's projected 168, so he's looking like the top team in the league right now. He's going to try to keep it going. And then, Mike, you've got Mark. Mark's 0-3. You're 1-2.
I need a win.
You need a win. He
I
needs
gotta
a
win.
win.
I got to get a win. Sorry, dude. I know you're looking for your first win, Mark, but I got to get a W. That's 2 straight. Last week I should have won. I did. I let Corey win. My guys just didn't perform in the final few games, but this week everything just went wrong. But I got to get a win, and it's going to be a whole new lineup. So if you've been scouting my team, get ready to do some new scouting because there's a new team and I have a feeling it's gonna be pretty interesting and fun.
Well, that pretty much wraps it up, man. Week 3 is in the books. Congrats to Joe on the bag. Congrats to Trent on his first win.
Yep.
Congrats to everybody else who is performing. Man, it is super competitive. The bag came down to literally the last drive. I mean, Willie, set your freaking roster, man. You cost yourself $75. I hope your wife knows that so she can chew you out.
I'm glad that what
$75.
I'm glad that wasn't me, man. Diane would. I'm scared to see what Diane would do to me. But yeah,
Yeah,
guys, set your lineup. I mean, I do it every Sunday morning. I just set it like an hour ahead of when the games are, just to make sure everything's covered. This is a
yeah.
competitive league. These guys you got a bunch of just swarming bees they put so much into this stuff. So try to set your
That's putting
lineups.
it nicely.
Yeah, I know you guys got a lot of stuff going on, but whatever you do, just try to set that lineup. Is set a time, set your alarm, whatever you got to do. Just make sure you set that thing. I hate to see people have the bag and then because they didn't set one guy,
Fumble the
that hurts.
bag.
Yeah, that hurts.
Fumble the bag. But no, it's a tremendous competitive week. This was one of the better weeks with 4 people really in the contention for the
Yeah,
bag. Gino had a good week too. He was the 5th highest scorer out of
Gino.
14 and still lost,
Oh,
man.
Gino. Gino.
Yeah. Yeah. He got,
Gino had a bad week overall. So
yep, he did.
it just seemed like nothing felt. I really thought he was going to pull the upset with all those late games he got, and then tonight, just fell apart.
Yeah. But hey, it's only 3 weeks in the book. We've got 17 total, so there's plenty of time to round it out. Our top 8 makes the playoffs. Right now, Mike, you'd be on the outside looking in, so
Yep.
you need a win.
Yep.
Right now, if the playoffs were to start today, it would be Mert playing Corey, Joe playing Willie, City and me would be matching back up, and then Eddie and Trey be playing, and you'd be on the outside looking in. So one of the reasons why the aggressive trades are happening, and
Yep.
guys move and shake, and I know phone calls will be being made tomorrow, and that's just the nature of our league, man. Congrats to Joe. He's $75 richer, and we're going to sign off, man. Week 4, got to bring it. Got to bring it.